This was Eric a couple of weeks ago telling us about his conversation with Rams COO Kevin Demoff and questioning how Fisher still had a job. Let's play this first before we start talking to Eric.
I asked Kevin Demoff point blank last night. I say, so are you bringing Jeff Fisher back? Does he have extension? He said, well, we're talking about it. He asked me, what do you think? I said, my honest opinion? I said, no. I said, I'm just going to be honest. I said, look, he's had 5 years. 5 years of losing. I mean, why would you bring him back? I mean, I asked him, I said, where are the naked pictures at? I said, that's the only, he must got something on someone because 5 years is enough.
Well, and I said this yesterday, Eric Dickerson, Hall of Famer, joining us. Fisher is a made man in the league. For instance, he was on the competition committee. He ran it. Like, no coach wants to do that, right?
Nope.
He said, I'll do it. Michael Sam, according to published reports, the NFL had called in that draft as Michael Sam dropped. And they asked some teams, could you draft him? This doesn't look good. He said, I'll do it. Hard Knocks, not a coach in this league, Eric, wants to be on Hard Knocks. And Jeff Fisher said,
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Do you think a lot of his durability with this was he's a made man in the league?
Well, yeah, Jeff is a well-liked guy, in the National Football League. I think he'll have if he doesn't coach, I think he'll have a job in the front office.
Yes.
And I still go back to what I said earlier. I said it months ago on my show that I think that the conflict of interest had a lot to do with it. I really believe that. With Marvin Demoff being the COO's son and he's his agent, they've been knowing Jeff since he was 3 years old. I think that had a lot to do with it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Jeff's, like I said, I don't know Jeff, but he's a great guy. He's a good guy. Then some people say different. So, but, Jeff will be fine. Let's put it like that. I mean, He will be fine. He's getting, $8 million for not even coaching. You can't, can I sign up for that gig?
Do you, when you hear the reports that phone call that you talked about, some have said, oh, that was the deal breaker, that the organization heard that Eric Dickerson story. How does that land for you?
I don't think that was the deal. But the deal breaker is not winning. That's what it comes down to. This gets put it in plain form. People want to say, I got him fired. I got so many texts about it. Good, you got him out of there. I didn't get that man out of there. Losing gets you out of there. It's all about winning. When I heard Kevin Demoff say, well, it's not about the record. It's more to it than that. Hey, look, it's all about winning. Everybody's not a winner. Everybody doesn't get a little trophy and go home. This is the National Football League. It's a rough and tough sport. It's different when I played, but it's still football.
You played in the Jim Harbaugh era. Do you know Harbaugh?
I don't know Jim. No, I don't.
Pretty intense guy. If I said to you, Jim Harbaugh and the Rams, does that feel like a good fit?
You know what? I'm going to say this much here. Yes, because he's a proven product. That's what it comes down to, proving what you've done. I look at what he's done at Stanford. Stanford was not a good football team.
They were 0-12. They were a disaster.
I think when he got there, they were 1-11.
1-11.
1-11. He goes to the San Francisco 49ers. I think they were 6-10 or something like that.
They were
he
a
turned
mess.
13-3. Went to 3 NFC championship games. Look, University of Michigan. Turn that program around.
They had empty seats.
At Michigan. Now, you didn't ever see that. Michigan was always sold out.
For 40 years, I didn't see a empty seat. They had sections that were empty when he took it over.
I wish he'd come to my university to turn us around. But do I think it's a good fit for the Rams? I do. I mean, look, I'm not going to write that $10, $12 million check, but that's just my opinion. I think if you want to win and you want to win now, start the process. Because, look, we have a young quarterback, a young kid. You've got to get him on the right track. This is where we put our future in. And if they bring a guy in to try to save money right now, we'll try to go into the stadium, hobble into the stadium maybe 8-8, 7-9. That's not going to work. You need to go in that stadium blowing it out.
What do players tell you about Jared Goff? Because, there have been moments. He's got a nice – I like his throwing motion. I've said this before. There are some things. I watched Tom Brady in college, and I watch Goff, and I'm like, there are some physical attributes that are very similar. Now, it's a different game today. It's faster today. But do you think anybody's bailed on Goff? Are there people in that organization that have?
I don't know. I don't think that was Jeff Fisher's pick, and I say that for a couple of reasons. I talked to a guy that had coached with Jeff before, and he said that wasn't his pick. That's not his kind of guy. I know his kind of guy. Steve McNair, big kind of guy. That's the kind of guy he likes. That said, Jared Goff, to me, when I look at him, it's unfair to judge him because the offense, I said it was high school. People call it middle school. I think Todd Gurley called it middle school. I've been saying that for weeks.
Remedial.
Man, it's just so – we open up the game. I know the plays. It's going to be a run up the middle. It's going to be a check down or a 5-yard out. You can count on that. And if we get a big play, it's going to be a holding penalty. It's going to come back. So, those are the things you can count on. Jared Goff, to me, looks like a quarterback sometimes like, whoo, this is fast. I mean, but all rookies are like that. I was like that. Man, this is fast. And I go back and say that it's not fair to give him, I can't judge him. And I'm not a quarterback, but I know what I see. You know, he still doesn't have the right coaching. And that's what I look at it for a quarterback. He doesn't have the right coaching to give him that confidence when he walks on the field. Okay, I've seen this. I know what to expect.
You know, it's funny about the kind of the Rams community. I watch Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. I see in a local TV show, and I listen to you. And there really is a real community in this town. It's funny though. Right now, Los Angeles is there for the taking. The Lakers are young. The Clippers are the Clippers. The Clippers have good players, but they've never like galvanized the town. UCLA football is kind of down. USC is good, but it's college football. Like, do you think, as a former Ram, how does it all play to you? Do you think it was the right time, the right stadium? Like, how does it play to you when you wake up with these Rams? Are you proud? Are you embarrassed?
Well, as a play that I've seen, it's embarrassing. But I'll say this much here. A lot of those guys are playing their hearts out. You know, that defense plays hard. Not saying all the offense doesn't play hard. Not saying all the players don't play. They play hard. It's embarrassment in some ways because I feel like this was where the Los Angeles Rams should have never left. And if we don't wake up and get it together, if the Raiders would happen to show up in town,
they'd take the city over.
The Rams would be the Clippers of the 80s. They'd be like, who? Oh, we ain't going to
If the Raiders were in town today,
it would be over.
They would take the city over.
They would take this. It would be Raider everything. I mean, we have loyal fans too. We do. But the Raider fans are a different breed. And you know what? I can say this much. I played for the Raiders 1 year. I'm happy for those fans because they were just like us. They've been waiting 12 or 13 years for a winning season. We've been waiting since 2003 to have a winning season. You can go back and say, well, we were 8-8. 8-8 is you're a loser. If you're happy with that, you're a loser.
By the way, Kevin Demoff and you went to a long dinner to talk about Jeff Fisher. So Jeff Fisher is now out. Have you talked to Kevin Demoff?
I text Kevin Demoff last week, and I text him. This is what I text him. I say, Kevin, let's just meet up. You know, I don't even want to talk about football. I said, let's just get to know each other a little bit better.
And you did. I
texted him. He said, I'm going to be out of town this week, which he might not be with all this going on. He said, but the following week. So I'm waiting, and we'll get together. I really don't want to talk about football. Like I told him, I just want to get to know him and let him get to know me.
When do you think they'll hire a coach?
I mean, they need to do it soon. I mean, a coach they're gonna have for a couple of years, or if they're gonna, like I say, gonna try to play this game. Try to get a guy and then just wait till we go in the stadium.
If John Gruden got the job, how would it play to you?
I think that would be okay too. I think John's a very good coach. I mean, I think he's been on air long. He hasn't coached in a while. I mean, that's a good job he got. He had to worry about getting fired off that job.
Well, he's on the draft. He's on Monday Night Football. Yeah. He does that quarterback camp. He's the highest paid ESPN employee. Now, do you believe his absence from the league would affect his coaching?
Yes, I mean, that's just my opinion. I think being away from something for a while, you have to get, it's like anything, riding the bike, you got to jump on, okay, I know how to do it again. I mean, one thing I know this much here, he knows how to coach a quarterback. He would help our quarterback.
Yes.
And that's what we need. This is supposedly our future, our young quarterback. We need the guy there to do that with our young quarterback, Jared Goff.
Yeah. It just, you know what it felt like with Jeff Fisher? And I got nothing against him. He's just one of those coaches. His friends are special team and defensive coaches. He doesn't know offensive coaches. He doesn't know coordinators. He's butchered it. They don't draft the offense.
Not at all.
They don't have a. The minute Gary Kubiak left Joe Flacco, the offense has floundered.
I mean, you look at our offense. I mean, let's go back to the picks. Some of the picks that we pick. We have. Let's say the target is over here. We're shooting over here. I mean, we're missing so bad. It's like, who picking these guys? I mean, are they closing their eyes picking them? So it shows it's a miss. It's a miss up top. And, it always.
It's an organizational situation.
Very much an organizational situation.